Matt Gray is here on the Blaze Radio Network.
Great to have you with us. Welcome to Tuesday, May 11th already. Is that crazy? Man, the global warming is killing us right now in Texas. It was all the way up to 58 degrees on May 10th yesterday. 58 most of the day. I don't know if it ever got above that, but it was. That just doesn't happen here this late in the year. Amazing. It's that global warming. I guess without it, we would have been at 38.
See?
Yeah, and okay. So, yeah, that's terrible. That would have 38 degrees.
Yeah, 50s and 60s all week here in North Texas expected.
Amazing. It's great. We've also had some severe weather, though. We look at this hailstone. This one's from last week's storm, right?
Yeah, it's hard to keep them apart. We've had 4 and 5 weeks where I live.
Yeah, it sucks. But here was one of the hailstones somebody sent us a picture of. 6.4 inch diameter on that thing. Look at that.
Now that one, good grief.
That'd kill you if it hit you in the head, wouldn't it? I mean, that could do some damage.
That is a big boy.
Yeah, that's huge. That was near San Antonio in Hondo, Texas. Appreciate you sending that in to us, Bob. And that is amazing. Probably not even half that size, but they were big. They were golf ball up to maybe baseball size in my house.
Yeah.
And the roof was, of course, destroyed, and that's when the roofers descended like locusts on my house. In fact, I think the roofers were worse than locusts.
Uh-huh.
Because locusts, they just fly outside. They're happy to just do their thing. They don't bug in, ring the doorbell, and wake up grandbabies and cause the dog to bark incessantly.
Oh, no. However, there's a trade-off because the locusts can't fix your roof.
That's true. That is true.
But look at the master of the Segway over here. Go ahead with your little...
And speaking of plagues, here they come.
Yeah.
Sifting through a shovel load of dirt in a suburban backyard, Michael Ropp and Paula Strewsbury find their quarry, a cicada nymph. A cicada nymph? Is that a promiscuous cicada? Is that what that is? Some hot, sexy cicada that's a little bit promiscuous with the rest of the
well, I mean, they've got how many legs that they could just show off?
I don't know.
Under those wings, you know?
I don't know.
Little cicada leg action.
So they found a cicada nymph, and then another, and another, and 4 more. In maybe a third of a square foot of dirt, the University of Maryland entomologists find at least 7 cicadas, a rate just shy of 1 million per acre.
That's got to be a fun job, right? Digging around for bugs.
Yeah, that seems like it'd be really fun and rewarding. A nearby yard yielded a rate closer to 1.5 million. Jeez. And there's much more afoot. Trillions of the red-eyed black bugs are coming, say scientists.
All right.
They're going to emerge sometime next week. They'll emerge after 17 years underground.
Okay. How wonderful. How fortuitous this timing. Because there's not enough going on in the world.
Right.
But I'm kind of hung up on the whole entomologist, man, like at a bar or something. So tell me about your job.
I dig up cicadas,
sorry?
promiscuous cicadas, and take pictures of their...
Great band name right there. Promiscuous cicadas. Okay.
So apparently this is going to be the worst from Indiana to Georgia up to New York. They're coming out now in mass numbers in Tennessee and North Carolina. Looks like we're going to avoid this one.
Yay.
Texas is actually going to avoid some sort of plague. How about that?
Yeah.
Good.
I saw some map that showed all of the different... apparently, there's different cycles, different cicadas in Texas being spared this go around. But instead, you see the areas that it's hitting, Pat, it's hitting the areas where they're having this gas pipeline shortage. Right up there through the East Coast, Southeast, cicadas and no
gas. Yeah, that's another really fun topic we'll talk about today because the hacker group, I guess, in Russia shut down our pipeline. And so we're going to have a gas shortage, it looks like. Prices are going to go up a lot more than they already have.
Yeah, they have already started running out of gas at stations along the East Coast. And then there's a trucker who listens to the show here, And he says this is anecdotal, but let's see, a buddy. So he's talking about a trucker friend of his saying that the truck stops are running out of gas in the Southeast, and they're not booking any more loads until the situation improves. Store shelves will be empty in 3 days if the fuel runs out.
Oh, good.
So it's going to
Welcome back to panic buying,
right,
everybody. Won't that be great?
It's going to be good times.
No toilet paper, no water, no paper products. Clorox bleach will be gone again.
And the little gas there is, we'll be sitting in line for to pay through the roof.
Jeez. I already paid yesterday almost $70 to fill up my tank. Unreal. And it's going to get worse before it gets better. And speaking of this kind of apocalyptic scenario, we got this tweet from Jeffy's cardio coach.
I love this tweet. It's so good.
It pictures, it's last week's picture with the Bidens and the Carters
that is
together.
So cute. They stopped by the Cabbage Patch doll factory.
Joe spends time with the captain, with Captain Peanut. And not only do we have inflation, we have gas shortages, just like in the 70s.
Just like the 70s.
And the best is yet to come. Way to go, Gramps.
There we go.
Yeah, we're right back to the Carter years. So that was really appropriate, a little picture with them last week.
And somebody pointed out on Twitter this morning that it's amazing to think that Joe Biden was a senator way back when Jimmy Carter was in the White House. That's how long the man has been in D.C.
And as a matter of fact, prior to
Ford, yeah, right?
Yeah.
Or was it Nixon?
I think he started with Nixon.
Yeah.
72, wasn't he a senator?
Oh, man, I always forget
I know
this
his
one.
Political career started in 70 or 72, but I'm not sure if he was a senator yet.
I hate that I always forget that.
Yeah.
But I'm going to find out, but it'll be too late to be applicable to this discussion.
Yeah, after we've moved on to three other subjects, you'll find it.
Yeah.
Which should be great.
Yep.
888-900 3393 73.
He became a senator. In 1973. So yeah. So definitely Nixon. Gosh.
Incredible. Seriously incredible. So why are our government officials hiding the January 6th videos? We've seen some. We've seen some that make the crowd there look really bad. We've seen some that were just like, okay, they're protesting, right? Peacefully protesting. But all along, Joe Biden has called this the worst attack since the Civil War. Merrick Garland, Attorney General of the United States, compares it to the 1995 Oklahoma City bombing. The FBI is breaking down doors of Iraqi veterans and small business owners who have no criminal records. I mean, it's unbelievable how they're treating this thing. The event was the 4-hour-long disturbance of the Capitol, U.S. It was a riot. I think you can safely classify it as a riot. Mostly nonviolent, though. I mean, you did have the douchebags in the crowd. And it's hard to avoid that. It really is. Some of those douchebags, by the way, were left-wing douchebags. And it's proven. Got the pictures, got the photos of a BLM guy who is amping people up. But as mostly nonviolent Americans protested Congress's certification of the election process, at what was once considered the people's house, so they would have every right to be there, actually. Lawmakers scurried for cover as reporters and photographers captured part of the ruckus on video and still shots to wield as political ammunition against Trump and his supporters. But have we ever seen a full and fair depiction of exactly what happened that day? And the answer to that is clearly no. No, we haven't. And they have it. They've got, I mean, that building is closely monitored from every angle. So I'm sure there's plenty of video, and they don't want to show it because it would prove what we were saying is that was not an insurrection. It was not a bloodbath. The one person who was killed was part of the mob, not the other way around. In fact, she was shot, I believe, by a black cop, but they won't release the person's name. She wasn't doing anything violent at the time. She was trying to get inside, I believe, the House chamber. but without warning or being threatened, she was shot dead. So they continue not to. And how long did it take for them to say that the cop who died did not die of being bludgeoned by a fire extinguisher? How long did it take them to release the results of the autopsy that showed he died of natural causes? 2 strokes.
Oh, yeah. It was
so long.
At least 3 months.
They dragged that on to where everybody thought he was murdered by that mob. And then it got almost no coverage when it actually came out that, no, that's not the case. So there are thousands of hours of real-time footage that's in the hands of the Capitol Police. It's been requested by media sources, and they won't release it. Their system at the Capitol captured more than 14,000 hours of footage.
Wow.
Between noon and 8 p.m. on January 6th. 14,000 hours.
Wow. Keith Math says that's a lot of cameras. Lot of footage.
Did you carry the one on that to get?
Of course,
to
I
that
carried
conclusion?
the one.
Okay,
I always
good.
carry the one.
All right.
But you're exactly right. You went through the examples of how they're searching coast to coast for people. Remember, we had the story in Alaska where they were at the wrong house,
right?
Detained the couple, questioned them separately in their own home, looking for Nancy Pelosi's laptop. Wasn't even the right person. Meanwhile, we've got Antifa and BLM destroying cities. I don't see anybody knocking down those doors.
No. No. To call this the worst disaster since the Civil War, when we had World War I, World War II, Korea, Vietnam, both Gulf Wars, the war in Afghanistan, 9/11.
I was just about to say that if you weren't going to get there.
The Oklahoma City bombing, all of these things where hundreds, if not thousands of people died. And this was the worst thing, where nobody died who was on the other side. I mean, not killed. Obviously, the police officer did die. But as we've said a million times, the only actual person who was killed by someone else was Ashley Babbitt, who was a Trump supporter. It's despicable what they make out of this.
Our government, the Biden administration, has big plans for us and our limiting of freedoms.
Yeah, and the January 6th thing is important to them because they can always paint us.
Precisely.
And they really have painted the right as extremists.
They need that backdrop for everything they've got planned for us here on out.
Yep. And look, it shouldn't have to be said because we denounced this from the very beginning. It's not good what happened. It was very bad. And they should have acted more appropriately and legally. And there was no reason to start breaking windows and smashing doors down and going into people's offices and taking their things. But to call this an insurrection or an attempt to destroy our democracy. The Founding Fathers destroyed our democracy, by the way, from the very beginning. So in favor of a republic, which was really smart of them. But they've made such a big deal out of this. It's like it was the worst, well, they said, the worst catastrophe since the Civil War. Come on. So will we ever see the full picture? Probably not. Certainly not during this administration. That's for sure. 888-900-3393. Let me take just a minute to tell you about Built Bars. If you haven't tried these yet, what are you waiting for?
Seriously.
They're seriously delicious.
Oh, yeah.
They're going to help you stay on track with whatever goals you have for your weight and your body and eating healthier. They really are healthy because they're really high in protein and they're low in sugar and net carbs. So if you're looking for something that's going to curb your hunger and taste really good, go to BuiltBar.com because it fits the whole bill. It really does. Curbs that appetite, those hunger pains you especially get in the middle of the day. Mm-hmm. And if you can't get away to have lunch, this is a great way to go.
I am a furnace. I have to constantly be eating. But boy, the Built Bar, it puts a stopgap for quite a while, and I appreciate that.
And it doesn't taste like chalk.
No, it's very yummy.
Or like chemicals. I hate that chemical aftertaste. Two things I can't abide is the chemical aftertaste and burping up fish all day. I can't do it. I can't do it. Which is why there are some products Unlike Omega XL, which I've told you doesn't do that, but we'll get to that later on. Anyway, go to BuiltBar.com, use the promo code PAT, and you'll get 15% off your first order. Promo code PAT for 15% off at BuiltBar.com.
Pat Gray Unleashed.
That is true. Keith was just mentioning that I only endorse products that don't give me a nasty aftertaste.
Right?
That's really true.
I think that's the test. Like, the sales team will come here and you'll try a product.
Does it have nasty aftertaste? Meh, take it away. I'm not going to endorse it.
Take it away.
But obviously, Built Bar does not, and neither does Omega XL, which is fantastic. All right, 888-900-3393. On to vaccines. Have you been vaccinated yet? What are you trying to kill your grandparents or mine? Good luck with that. They've been dead for decades already. So that job's already been done. Okay, so you can't kill my grandparents. But maybe you're trying to kill yours or somebody else's. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I don't know why you haven't gotten that vaccine. So fess up, Keith. Why haven't you gotten the vaccine?
Because as I've said since before there was a vaccine, I'm not going to put an experimental product into my body for something that I'm not fearful of. And even after having had a terrible case of the virus that it's supposed to help with.
Yeah, it did hit you pretty hard.
Oh, yes, it did.
Yeah.
I'm still not changing my mind. I can live without the vaccine.
Mm-hmm. And you should, because they've already said the people who've had the disease and then get the vaccination have more severe side effects than if you haven't had it.
Yeah, because your body's it's a what was the, I can't think of the phrase here, but I mean it's basically working double now to fight. And no thanks, I'm good.
Corby, are you vaccinated?
I am.
You are vaccinated. Which one did you get?
I got the Moderna.
And no side effects?
Arm was sore. Felt like crap the next day, but...
You did feel like crap? It's interesting that so many people have mentioned the flu-like symptoms and put them in bed for the day or 2 days or whatever, when supposedly this doesn't act like other vaccines. They're not actually giving you the inert virus because it's the different process now. They don't give you the virus to help your body fight off the virus, right? That was my understanding from the beginning, is that these are completely different. So I don't know why they're doing that to people. If it doesn't give you the virus, then what's causing people to become sick like this? It's really weird. Really weird. And weirder still, here's what happens to you. We've already got some testimonials from people in the future. They sent this back to us through a time machine.
No.
Yeah, I think the hot tub time machine.
5 years after?
5 years
Welcome
after.
To the neighborhood. Hey, how's it going?
Oh, he's got 3 eyes.
Moderna? Yeah. AstraZeneca.
Oh, he gets a tail.
Nice.
Third eye and a tail.
Oh, at least it's not Pfizer, you know.
Oh, no.
Totally.
So does that change your tongue if you get the Pfizer?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is it? It's J&J.
Oh, no.
Johnson &
That's
Johnson.
what happens when you get the Johnson & Johnson. So,
Oh, boy.
so you're going to get a third eye, Corby. That's kind of cool.
Cool.
Would you, like, knowing that now, would you rather have the tail or the third eye?
I'll take the eye. I think it's better.
Yeah. That's going to be kind of fun at
Especially
parties.
if you can see from it through it, you know?
If that moves independently, you could really cover a lot of ground. You know, if your one eye's going one way and your other two are
I'm
going...
surprised that video still exists. Why haven't they taken that down? That's saying something negative about the precious vaccine.
And it's a lie.
And it's a lie.
Right? We
It
know.
doesn't cause third eyes and tails.
Right. But I mean, the tongue thing probably is accurate. And the
Could be.
zombie stuff.
Yeah, it could be.
It's probably...
Also, we got this guy who actually did a scientific little experiment.
Oh.
He's going into, like, CVS's and
yeah.
Walgreens.
Yeah.
And he's going all over the place.
And he's getting the vaccine. Let's be honest. He's getting
the vaccine. Check this out.
I just want to read it.
He wants to read what's on the package he's putting in his body.
I'm taking the vaccine. I just want to read the vial thing.
Yeah, he's taking it.
Oh, thank you. This is the vaccines in there?
No, sir.
Hey, you.
Sir.
I will be.
Sir?
Taking my vaccine here, guys. We're gonna go test this.
Oh, wow.
We're gonna bring it to the lab. I'm gonna investigate here. You guys would trade here. You can take the mask.
Hey, Rob.
And
Sir?
I'm gonna be taking this vaccine here. Don't touch me, okay? This is my vaccine, guys.
I love him.
Dude, this is poisoning people, okay? So,
Right?
just taking my vaccine. We are.
He got the Johnson & Johnson. He doesn't want to be a zombie.
Guy's got some giblets. That's hard to do.
Right?
Totally.
Okay, cool. I mean, I got it, so it don't matter.
He just casually.
Do we get to see the results of what he finds?
No, we haven't gotten
not
those
She
yet.
didn't want to let me get it.
Okay, so
Well, I got it again, guys.
So he's
Yes,
been
it
doing
is.
this for
It's
all
the
of them.
Johnson & Johnson one. I had to finesse that one a little bit. Seemed like they were expecting it. But praise the Lord, guys. I got a full vial this time. Full vial.
all right.
And they're definitely calling the cops.
I need
But
to.
let's check it out.
I need to write his handle down
Yep,
and
the
see if there's an
Janssen
update.
COVID vaccine.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
To the lab we go.
Okay.
Because I would like to see if he got arrested, and I would love to see the results. But I don't condone the thievery there.
Wait, is that thievery?
Yes.
Is it really?
I would say so. If you stole their vaccine.
I wish Jeffy was here because. First
Well,
of all, they're giving him away for free.
Think about
He
it.
took the vaccine. He left with it. It's just not in his body. So, what's the difference
Yeah, they were
here?
going to jam it in his shoulder anyway.
Right? So he
Not the bottle, though. Not
so
the container it came
all right.
in.
So he stole the vial.
He stole the container it came in.
Okay. Well, we're gonna find out.
Don't think that they wouldn't charge him with something like that.
Oh, of course they would.
They'd do everything they can to prosecute the guy. There's some other things that are kind of clanging around out there about these vaccines. On Monday, ABC 7 in San Francisco reported that some women are noticing changes in their menstrual cycles after getting the COVID-19 vaccines. Good gosh.
That's why I'm not getting it. I don't want to change my cycle.
Since then, hundreds of people have commented on the report, and women continue to express concern about long and heavy periods and it's just icky things to talk about, and changes in cycle timing. A hematologist in Southern California reached out with a possible explanation and some advice. Inflammatory reaction has been noticed with the COVID vaccine. We know that because many, including myself, after the second vaccine, developed some mild flu-like symptoms. She specializes in bleeding disorders and adolescent women and explained that inflammatory cells triggered by the vaccine could affect your hormones.
Very little research was done on these before they started getting injected en masse.
Yeah, the real answer here is they don't have any idea why this would happen. They don't know. That inflammation has a potential or potentially can modulate estrogen response, which could be the link between certain women having their periods change. It's so graphic. I don't want to get into it. Yeah,
But I mean, that's what happens here. I mean, the experiment is happening now, right? Whether it's with the cycles, oh, that's a thing. Whether it's with the blood clots, oh, that's a thing. Whether it's you got the flu now, oh, that's a thing. I'm not doing this. I'm not doing this. Ever.
Of the 13.7 million people the CDC has analyzed who've gotten their COVID-19 vaccines, out of that group, 79% of them are reporting side effects. 79% of those who did report side effects were women. So this affects women a lot more than it affects men. Now, something would be done about it if it affected trans women more.
Right, that's what we need. We need some numbers
that's what we need.
On the trans reaction.
Can a trans woman please step forward with whatever reaction you had, and then they'll actually take action and try to do something about it.
Ma'am.
Thank you.
Is ma'am.
See?
I mean,
Oh, man.
help us.
We got a Pathead. R. Rhodes sent us
These are some interesting stats. Yes.
COVID injection genocide? Ooh-wee. That's maybe a strong word, but
Okay.
in a 15-year period, Generally, just check out any of the vaccines that have been administered in the last 15 years, from 2005 through 2020. 511,752 vaccine injuries with 3,445 deaths. 3,400 deaths in a 15-year period.
Okay, so
that's with other vaccines.
Other vaccines responsible for 3,400 deaths in
Yes.
15 years.
And now on the right side of the ledger, you can see the 4-month period between 2020 and 2021. We've got 3,486 deaths just from this one in 4 months.
And these seem ridiculous. Like, these numbers are like, okay, nuh-uh, stop it. And so we did a little cross-checking. Actually, I went to the CDC website and said, come on, that's not real.
And they had bigger numbers, right?
And yes, they did. The numbers had already grown from when that graphic we just showed was made, according to the CDC.
4,178 reports of death. Now,
this was last week.
What they're going to say to you from the CDC is they're going to explain, well, this is a loosely gathered data point because we're just taking the numbers of all the people who have died after receiving the vaccine. We're not necessarily saying it was from the vaccine.
Oh, is this
That's
kind
how
of
they're
like
explaining it.
counting the guy who crashed his motorcycle?
Kind of like that.
As a COVID death because it was in his blood.
Yeah, sort of. It is sort of like that. So, I don't know. Good luck deciphering all this. I don't know where to go with this thing or what to do.
Make the decision yourself.
Right?
I mean, isn't that what America's all about?
Yeah, as long as they don't force us. It's your body, your choice.
Yeah. Okay.
Right? Should be. But as we all know, they only believe that with one issue.
What's that?
It's not vaccines. It's abortion.
Abortion.
Then we have some images of a 33-year-old. She's 33-year-old wife and mother who lived a really active life. And then she took the Johnson & Johnson vaccine.
Man.
Here she is describing the reaction she had to it.
Thank you for all the comments. I will try to make this as fast as I can. I'm here with Blanche, my walker. I can't feel the lower left side of my body. I am in physical therapy. I was hospitalized for 5 days. I did get the vaccination, the Johnson & Johnson, on April 9th. I got it before it was pulled from the market. I did my research. I wanted the one and done vaccination because I have a 7-year-old son, 4-year-old twin girls. I'm a busy mom, a busy wife. My husband has a crazy career. I wanted to just be done. I've never had a vaccine reaction. I'm a healthy 33-year-old. I thought this would be the best thing I could do. I got the vaccination because I felt like it would help eradicate everything going on with the coronavirus. So I did make an informed decision on my own. This is not political. I do believe that Johnson & Johnson and these other manufacturers should compensate people who have had reactions because under the Federal Emergency Act that they pulled, you can't sue the manufacturer, so you're basically screwed and you have to hope your insurance covers it.
Okay, she's updated that since, and here's the update.
I went to my neurologist today. I told them I'm still very, very sick. I have no function in the lower left part of my body, and they're going to up my meds a little bit, see if that helps me. That's all we can try right now, I guess. I'm still very, very sick and it sucks. And so I called my insurance to see if the university hospital near me would be covered. And they said it's covered for the ER. You should go there if you're experiencing these symptoms. You seem really sick. And I said, I am. And I had addressed a letter that they had sent recently that said my last hospital stay wasn't covered because it wasn't considered it was only an observation worthy hospital stay, not a life-threatening stay, and so I'm going to be responsible for all of it, even though the hospital admitted me and said it was an emergency. So
Heartbreaking. Really heartbreaking. There's one further update from her, and we'll share that with you next on Pat Gray Unleashed. Got some tweets here. Wendy Smart tweets, today is my mom's Carmel Smart birthday. So
Happy birthday.
Her mom named Carmel Smart.
Yeah, the sentence structure there, Wendy. Let's work on that next time. So you got a year to get it.
Just a little awkward.
Get it
a little cumbersome. Yeah.
Properly.
She's watching in New Hampshire and is a huge fan. Would you be willing to give her a shout out, please? And we just did.
You just did. See?
Happy birthday.
Hey, happy birthday, Mama.
Burks for Congress. Let's see. Locusts? Check. Unusual hailstorms?
Oh, no.
Check. Plague? Check. Civil unrest? Check. Huh. It's almost as if there's a book I read about this. Almost.
Uh-huh.
But not quite.
Isn't the book always better than the movie, too?
Yes.
Feels like.
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
And in this case, the book is going to be much better than the actual reality, too. Promise you that.
Yeah.
Toothpaste Words tweets, does it really surprise you they won't release the footage of January 6th? If they did, the Dems couldn't play the victim card anymore. No, it doesn't surprise me. It's just agonizing that this keeps going on over and over and over again. All right, the third video from the woman who received the vaccine, and this was Johnson & Johnson, because she just wanted the one shot and get on with her life. So she described her reaction. She got really sick. She wound up in the hospital. And here's the third update on this.
Good morning. I wanted to give a quick update. I'm still in the hospital. I'm getting an MRI and lumbar puncture again today. It's not pleasant, but I'll do what it takes. Johnson & Johnson did contact me yesterday, and they were very kind. They did say to make sure I go through the government reporting. There is a program that will help to reimburse medical costs for sorry, my brain isn't functioning properly, for vaccination reactions to an experimental vaccination. So for those of you going through this, I can try to remember to post the link to it, but it's like hrsa.gov. So I appreciate all the prayers and well wishes.
Really sad. And you know what? The government could avoid the hysteria over this thing if they would just come clean and they would just admit, yeah, we've had some reactions. Overall, here's the numbers, though. You know, it's a really low percentage of people. And we think in the long run, it's going to be better for the nation and the world overall if we take the vaccine. If they were just willing to acknowledge that there are some issues, rather than screaming that we're all conspiracy theorists and we're anti-vaxxers, and we've always been anti-vaxxers, just like we're science deniers.
Thank you.
If they would just be real about it, I think people would be more receptive.
This is the side that says follow the science, but we can't get them to agree that there's a live baby inside a woman. We can't get them to agree what makes a man and what makes a woman. And yet they're the ones shouting, take the vax, follow the science. It is maddening. And is it even that effective if we're going to have to keep taking this thing?
I saw today where they're thinking about combining the flu with the COVID shot.
It's your body.
Okay.
Your body, your choice.
Let's do another experiment on human beings. Well, there was a meme or a political cartoon going around a couple weeks ago. Was this last week with the two rats?
Okay. What did they say though?
And one of them said to the other, "Have you gotten the COVID vaccines? Are they testing you on those?" And he's like, "No, they're not done with the human trials yet." Yeah,
that's accurate.
It's
accurate. Oh my gosh,
they're not testing on rats; they're testing on us. Now, part of that was so that we could speed this thing into existence, and we did that.
But remember, the whole two-shot deal. Which one is that? Is that Moderna? Was that a two-shot deal?
Moderna and Pfizer.
Okay. That was a mistake between labs in Italy and Britain, where Italy sent the stuff back to Britain, and Britain said, oh, these can't be right. These numbers are wrong. And so, anyway, it turned out that Italy had it right, and Britain's like, oh, then I guess we'll do a double dose of this. Our bad. That was born out of a mistake. It wasn't some science breakthrough. They're like, okay, so this one's a two-shotter. No, it was a screw-up. Meanwhile, you've got places like China. It's like, let's just throw it all together in there and just whatever, and let's see if we can come up with a super vaccine. And if you're from my generation, you used to go to the soda fountain with your cup, and you would just do every different drink: Fanta, Coke, mellow yellow, whatever. They call that a suicide.
That's what they're kind of doing with the vaccine.
Feels like it, doesn't it, Pat?
We'll do a little Moderna, we'll do some Pfizer, and we'll mix in a little Johnson & Johnson. You know what top this off really nicely, like whipped cream, though, would be the AstraZeneca. We'll put some of that in
Time
there.
out. Hold on.
At the very top.
There's whipped cream involved?
No.
Oh.
No,
I was
No.
almost in.
Yeah. If they put whipped cream in it, you'd be in?
I would definitely give it consideration.
All right.
But no whipped cream. I'm back to no vax.
How about chocolate chips? What if they put chocolate chips?
Not gonna
like
do
it's
it.
a cookie from Kexi. Like it's a Kexi cookie.
Okay.
Where you could get those at Kexi.com. And
is there a peanut
try those
butter
out.
oriented Kexi cookie?
Yes, there is. Mm-hmm.
And that comes with, so I get
peanut butter
that.
and chocolate.
So, okay, if I get the vax, I get a peanut butter and chocolate Kexi cookie.
Yeah, right. That would be a nice arrangement.
Could you put some whipped cream on it?
If I could get that arrangement with the government, you better believe I would go for it.
Wait a minute, hold on. Or I could go to Target, where they're offering, if I go in and get a vaccine there at Target,
yeah,
they're giving away a $5 coupon to spend in the store, Pat.
Not $5.
A full $5. Can you
imagine the stampede that's going
Right?
to happen there? I mean, please. You can't spend that in one stop there.
And
how would you spend it all?
That's the trick. They're obviously getting you to come back because you can only spend so much at a time. That $5 at Target could buy you a whole
well,
pack
almost
of gum.
yeah, maybe 2 packs of gum.
Maybe
for $5. Well, depending on what kind,
If you haven't gotten the vaccine yet, you should be holding out for the best deal. Because remember the plane tickets, someplace you could win. What was it? You could get joints for jabs in New York. I mean, there's better offers out there than Target's $5.
$5.
What if you're like, this goes along exactly full circle what we just said about mixing the vaccines and doubling up and all this stuff. What if you just went around and kept getting the vaccine to get freebies? You get a donut one day, you get the $5 Target thing later, you go and get a joint. Look at that. You get a beer in New Jersey. He's got up there. Rob put up there.
Free beer.
And you just pump your body full of. Now you're invincible and you have freebies.
Nothing better.
Sounds like science to me.
Nothing better. Now, the most vaccinated country in the world, the Seychelles, they've vaccinated a higher proportion of their population against coronavirus than any other country. And so, obviously, they got no infections at all now.
What? No way. So,
well, except they're struggling to contain a new surge in COVID-19 infections, raising questions about the effectiveness of the vaccine. And you're going to be shocked from where the vaccine comes. You're going to just be shocked and stunned to your very core.
Okay.
It's a Chinese vaccine. And apparently, even after people take it, they can still get the virus. I thought it was supposed to stop that. So this is happening not just in the Seychelles, but also, what was the other country that was really high in? I think
Brazil?
It was Chile.
Oh,
it
Chile.
was Chile or Brazil,
Chile,
but
yeah.
I think it was Chile, where they were really vaccinating at a nice clip, like the UK and the US. But their cases of infection kept going up. Well, they're using the Chinese vaccine, so that's not. Is it racist to point that out? Yeah, probably is. Probably is.
If you are watching this episode of Pat Gray Unleashed after 4 p.m. Eastern today on youtube.com/Pat Gray, you'll know that it's been deemed not racist by the YouTube overlords to say that.
Okay. Good.
Good. If this doesn't appear there, then I guess they've ruled against you. But I mean, seriously, you can't point out facts anymore.
No, you can't.
You cannot, and that's what gets you in trouble. You and I were talking during the break. It's like we will get yelled at and said, "What are you doing with these conspiracy theories?" by showing a woman literally laying in her hospital bed, telling the world what's happened to her, and that's a conspiracy theory. CNN will cherry pick the 30-something-year-old father of 4 who died from COVID, and that's totally cool. That's fine to be pumping that out every time. It is a mad, mad world. Facts do not matter.
Not in the least. Then you got boneheads like this who are so celebratory about getting the vaccine that they act as if they just got married.
Oh, this is so bad.
Their car is decorated as if, but it's just vaccinated that they're celebrating. They got the cans attached to the back and the bows on the back of the car. Yeah. Just asinine.
Man, you are...
That's embarrassing.
Yes.
That's embarrassing.
And then they're driving around town, and I bet half the people they pass really think that's really funny and cool.
Oh, yeah. Uh-huh. And wish they'd thought of it first.
Yeah. That is...
That's great.
It's a cult, man.
Yeah, it's the Branch Covidians. And you, too, could be a part of them if you act now and rush in to get that all-important shot in your arm. Beth Midler tweeted this out. If my kid can't bring peanut butter to school, then yours can't bring the deathly plague. Vaccinate or I'm bringing the Jiffy.
Good Lord. Is Bette Midler vying for Empress or Queen of the cult there?
And you know she's thinking she's just nailed us. I've just made the point of the century. An asinine thing. I mean, so stupid. If your kid can't bring... I mean, is that a rule in every school? Or is it just a few selected?
I don't know.
If they have the peanut butter thing... I lived on peanut butter and jelly when I was in school. That's all I ate because it was easy to slap together and bring in a little sack to lunch. Now, it got really soggy by the time I ate it at noon. But we brought... And nobody dropped over dead.
Right.
From the peanut butter
now,
smell.
Now, if a conservative celebrity female says that, let's say Gina Carano tweets that out.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, Gina Carano, she's threatening children. Cancel her. Get her off the Disney show. Golly, can you believe this violence against children?
Wouldn't Bet be bringing the Jif peanut butter, not the Jiffy peanut butter?
Oh yeah, she didn't even get the brand right,
Come
right?
on now.
Jif peanut butter. That's a good point.
Now, did it used to be Jiffy, though? And they just shortened it to Jif?
I don't know, man. Are we that?
Because Jiffy seemed right to me, and maybe that's... Because...
Yeah, it's just Jif.
It's just Jif, right?
Let's just see if it used to be.
I think it used to be Jiffy.
What's happening
And it's
here?
not anymore. It's like
these are the things we need.
It's like Kentucky Fried Chicken's not Kentucky Fried Chicken. It's KFC.
Well, then they went back. Then they went back to their roots.
Can't keep track.
Right. I'm looking to see if there's an answer to this because I'm right there with you, man. It feels like it used to be Jiffy, right?
Yeah, I think it was. Maybe somebody will tweet us or call us. 888-900-3393.
Used to be Jiffaroo?
What?
Oh, no. Jiffaroo was the blue kangaroo mascot. Oh, I'm glad they dropped him. That sounds dumb.
Stupid.
Jiffaroo.
Yes, definitely stupid.
I don't see where it was Jiffy, man.
Huh. Maybe
Skippy,
it wasn't.
Right?
Is that what we're doing?
I think
we're
that's what we're
combining
doing.
the two?
Wow.
Jif and Skippy is Jiffy.
Oh, no, that's not what we're doing. That's what Bet's doing. And then we're falling for it through the Mandela effect or whatever it is, man. Wow. Okay.
Incredible. All right, 888-900-3393. This lady in Salt Lake City telling us about a restaurant.
Yeah, they took this video down, remember?
Requiring vaccines of patrons and employees. Now, I guess it's a pretty popular restaurant. I haven't lived in Salt Lake City for over 20 years, so I don't know this. I'm not familiar with the Bayou, but it seemed like it was fairly popular because people were really pissed. And if it wasn't a restaurant that you frequented, why bother with it? But a lot of supposedly the owner got all kinds of calls from angry people that you have to have the vaccine in order to be admitted into the restaurant. And he's just saying, I'm just following the CDC guidelines. I'm just following the science. I'm just the science, right? Science. That's all it is. Science.
I swear, every time somebody justifies their actions with the phrase, just following CDC guidelines, Dr. Fauci gets an evil grin on his face.
Or just following the science, which I'm getting sick of all those phrases. They follow the science. Shut up.
Then you just go back to them and just say, how many genders are there, right? Right?
Yeah, let's follow the science.
Follow the science.
Hey, what's in a mother's womb? Is it human? Whatever's growing inside there?
Well, I mean...
Well, they're human now.
Debbie
Wasserman Schultz case. My children are human now. Yeah, but were they human while they were in your womb? They're human now. And I'm just glad I had that choice.
Ugh. And the lady you referenced, Salt Lake City, she there was a video that was pulled down before we could take it because you can't do this. You can't be against vaccines or speak out against people that are requiring them. And she just simply pointed out that this restaurant says their employees have to have the vaccine and you have to, and everybody in your party has to have the vaccine 2 weeks ahead of your reservation to be allowed entry into the restaurant. I mean, this society, man, we are Jim Crowing ourselves in a new way.
Yep. So
it's fun, right?
Will you be committed enough, if that is your favorite restaurant, to just stop going there? That's what it's going to take, is commitment on our part. Like I said yesterday, this might be the time when we take a page out of the left's playbook and just start boycotting these places. Just start ignoring them and hit them where they live, in the pocketbook. That may be the only way to make a difference in this. I don't know. It's getting to the point where we talk about it, we complain about it, but nobody cares because we never do anything about it. We'll see if that continues. 888-933-93. It's just that, it's been a long year, and people went through a lot in the last year. A little over a year now. You won't believe what Gwyneth Paltrow had to endure.
Oh, no, really?
Yeah, but we're going to tell you about it. Be ready. Have a box of Kleenex handy because you're going to need some tissues.
Thanks for preparing us for
you
this,
bet.
Pat.
Happy to do it. In a minute, you'll be sobbing uncontrollably for Gwyneth Paltrow. So let me start off here by telling you about Taser first. In this world of chaos, in this world where police have been defunded, where marauding mobs control the streets, where who knows what can happen at any time of the day or night. You want some way in which you can protect yourself. There is a great way to do that, and it's called Taser. If protecting your family is your number one priority, like it is for me, then Taser is exactly what you need to keep your family safe. They're on a mission to protect you and your loved ones safely. When Taser founder Rick Smith was in high school, 2 of his friends were shot and killed over an argument. Rick was devastated, but the tragedy inspired him to start Taser and give you the tools you need to protect yourself safely.
Yeah, get you as much distance as possible between you and the threat.
The Taser Strike Light combines the usefulness of a high-intensity flashlight that repels attackers with the protection of a 50,000-volt stun gun. So it's 2 products in one, really, and it's fantastic.
Yeah, and a lot of people are uncomfortable carrying handguns or handling weapons.
Exactly.
And this really takes that to a more manageable level for many people.
And more than 237,000 people have been saved because of Taser and their network of devices. So start protecting yourself and your family with Taser today. It's available without a permit in most U.S. states. For a limited time, take advantage of Taser's best offer available and save $60 on the Pulse Plus bundle. With a Taser Plus device, cartridges, and holster at Taser.com. Save $60 on all of that right now by using the promo code PAT right now at Taser.com, spelled T-A-S-E-R, Taser.com.
It's Pat Gray Unleashed on the Blaze.
Couple of tweets. One from MK Fair. Was anyone tested for COVID prior to their vaccination? Perhaps the sick reaction is the vaccine attacking your natural antibodies for those who had it and were asymptomatic and didn't know.
See, now that's something
possibly
because you think you might have had COVID.
Yes.
And you probably want to find that out before you agree
Definitely.
to get the vaccine. Yeah.
Definitely. Watcher17 tweets, getting the vaccine is between me and my doctor. Fauci is not my doctor. Okay.
Yep.
Vicky Thoma tweets, every year the flu vaccine has 4 to 5 different strains in it already. I assume COVID will be added and most people won't even realize it. Huh. That's a good point. Well, how do we know? And they could absolutely do that. Now to the horrifying story of Gwyneth Paltrow during lockdown. We all went through our things, right?
Yeah.
During lockdown. It was, it messed up a lot of lives, but nothing compares to what Gwyneth Paltrow went through.
And by the way.
Yeah.
Oh boy, if he was visiting her, that
Right?
must have been horrifying.
Right?
My goodness, Gwyneth, I'm sorry for your situation.
I didn't even realize
Joe
how bad
Biden
it
came
was.
over. Can I have a sniff of your hair?
Yeah, and then he licked her neck. Yeah. So.
Is that what happened?
No.
Wow, escalation. That escalated quickly.
But it could. It could happen.
Totally.
You know?
Especially if she's 12.
Her story is deeper and darker. She just opened up on what lockdown was like for her last year.
Oh, wow.
Again, I hope you went for that Kleenex box because you're going to need it.
Oof.
The Hollywood star was just like everyone else when the pandemic hit. She had to adapt to spending, get this, nearly every waking hour of the day inside, like we all did. But she told a podcast host about how she really let go of her usual diet and routine.
Uh-oh.
Listen to this. I drank alcohol during the quarantine.
So?
I was drinking 7 nights a week and making pasta. And get this, eating bread. She ate bread during the lockdown. I went totally off the rails.
Yeah, bread, man.
I mean, who drinks multiple drinks 7 nights a week? That's not healthy. She said, that's a quote from her.
Like, that's not, healthy?
That's, not healthy.
And stuff.
You're right.
Yeah, so the bread is what?
She went on. She actually was off of bread completely, but gave in to the temptation and had bread during the lockdown.
Yeah,
Wait, let me dab away the.
Gosh, man, that's really affected you.
It really did. Really did. I don't want to have snot running down my nose.
No, you're good. I'd tell you.
I'm all right.
Look, I wouldn't leave you hanging out there like
Is it true,
that.
Corby? Do I have snot running down my nose?
You got snot? I don't
Okay.
see it from
You're
this
good.
angle. Okay. But the alcohol 7 nights a week, I mean, I think that's relatable.
Yeah. Well, I
But-
think there's probably a lot of people that drink multiple drinks
Right?
7 nights a week. Millions of people do that.
I think it's the pasta and the bread. What sacrifice from Gwyneth?
Listen to the response to people on Twitter, though. One guy wrote, I became homeless. But sorry about the millionaire eating bread, I guess. Another one wrote, I would rather read all day long about a junky horse than suffer through some BS story about how the Cooch Candle Queen hit rock bottom during a pandemic and ate a freaking bagel.
Wow. Wow.
Sending prayer and lighting a flame. Poor little dear, I struggled to keep my business going so my employees didn't lose their jobs. I spent months alone during the first lockdown. My home was left partly built. I got off lightly compared to some, but thank F I didn't have to eat bread.
Oh, boy.
Bunch of people I love died. Lost my full-time job I loved of 25 years. And its associated health benefits, too. But damn, can't say I ever went as low as Gwynny did eating bread.
Right?
So count my blessings, huh?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, a lot of people really went kind of dark on this.
No.
Somebody else wrote, my parents dying 18 days apart, followed by a friend since the 80s dying after a fiery car crash, shortly followed by the death by ALS of the one that got away. Followed by 3 months alone with my 2 cats. But I didn't hit up on the bread. So there's that.
Did kind of,
Yeah.
I mean,
She got torched, in other words.
Yeah. What was it on page 2? of that. What is the what's the candle tweet? Did you not want to read that one?
No, I will.
Take a look there. That seems, I think I laughed out loud, like literally LOL'd.
My lowest point in quarantine was finding out Gwyneth Paltrow's lowest point was eating bread, and not the time her vagina candle burned someone's house down. Which actually did happen, if I remember correctly, right?
Yeah, firefighters arrived on the scene. What's that smell? Man, you know, these celebs, they gotta think things through before they before they speak.
Wait, they should think things through. Maybe use their brain before they post something on the internet?
Rob?
So let's use brain cells before we post things on the internet. Thanks.
You're welcome. So,
she's gonna
brain cells.
She's gonna grow up to be in Congress. You know that, right?
Of
that
course.
girl right there. She's gonna be
gut check.
Right.
Stop.
That's exactly what I was gonna say. I was gonna say she's gonna be authoring legislation with AOC and George Soros.
Yes. And speaking of women's issues, on the heels of the news that New Zealand weightlifter Laurel Hubbard, a biological male,
here we go,
who identifies and competes as a female, is set to become the first ever transgender athlete to compete in the Olympics. And here's the thing. Some biological females are so hateful and so transphobic, they're not happy about it.
I swear.
Oh, man, they just don't care about women's rights anymore. They don't care.
No.
They don't care. Their concerns apparently don't just fall on deaf ears. Allegedly, they're told to shut up about the unfairness of it all. How incredible is that? You couldn't see this one coming. Former Olympic weightlifter Tracy Lambrex said in regard to Hubbard, "We're all about equality for women in sport. But right now, that equality is being taken away from us. I've had female weightlifters come up to me and say, 'What do we do? This isn't fair. What can we do?' Unfortunately, there's nothing we can do because every time we voice it, we're told to be quiet." Wow. So, you know, she's going to take somebody's spot on the New Zealand weightlifting team, and then she might take somebody's spot on the podium, with that unfair advantage of her bone structure.
It's madness.
Strength.
I'll tell you what. Let's do this, Pat. If you live in a college town, why don't you go enroll one class on campus, and you've got some eligibility left for the NCAA, why don't you go and try out for the women's softball team? We do this. Every college town, dozen guys show up, start playing for the
women's team.
This will change quickly, I think.
Yeah, I identify as a female.
And I only bat cleanup.
Excuse me, it's ma'am. It is ma'am.
Yeah, got a bunch of 6'4", 245-pound dudes playing women's softball.
Let's go, Lady Huskers.
Might make an impression. It really might.
Seriously, so if you live in a college town, find one class that you want to take, 3 credit hours or something like that.
Yeah.
And play softball this spring.
Get to it.
Right now. Get out there.
Yo, so I'm hitting 753 right now. My average went down 3 points because I only went 2 for 5 yesterday.
Think about
this. With 84 home runs so far this year.
There are men's softball. Okay, Lincoln, Nebraska. Let's just do this, okay? There's a men's softball league. There's got to be, right? I want one team, one group of guys in that league to... I guess you have to wait till next season, right? So
Probably,
you got some time to get this organized. You guys start looking at the courses offered. Oh, look, I want to take theory of jazz. Or I want to take Greek mythology or something, something like that, right? You show up a couple times a week, you sit in the class, you take the test, and you try out for the women's softball team. And you do this all over the country. We'll get this stuff nipped in the bud 12 months from now.
If that happened, it would. Of course, it isn't going to happen.
I love that idea.
But I love it.
We got to find.
It would be awesome.
Let's find a place around here that we could, me and you and Jeffy, grab some guys around here at the office and let's go play for, North Texas, right? North Texas Eagles or whatever. Let's drive up to Denton. We could play.
I'm not sure the three of us would strike fear in their hearts.
I think the point would be, I don't know.
I don't think
of course,
so.
I'd get hurt. Game one, I'd injure myself.
Yes, you'd be out for the year.
Yeah,
your career would be over.
Yeah, I mean that's what I do. I mean, I go home and I hurt myself. Like this weekend, I was carrying an axe and I got stung by a bee, and thankfully none of my digits were lopped off.
Oh, good.
So.
Good, that's a relief.
I'm counting the bee sting as an injury, but thankfully, it could have been a lot worse.
Yeah,
but let's go try. Let's play softball, man.
All right.
Really?
Maybe we'll prepare ourselves by taking some Texas Superfood and get all the nutritional value we need.
Some energy.
Yeah, some more energy, better sleep. Texas Superfood gives you the power of nutritionally dense fruits and vegetables, the power of enzymes and probiotics in action. You've heard about enzymes and probiotics, right? But if you're like me, you don't have any idea really what they do in your body. We just all know that they're important to living a healthy life. Texas Superfood is organic, vine-ripened, antioxidant-rich, raw natural fruits and vegetables that makes just maintaining proper nutrition really easy for you. All the fruits and vegetables used are grown organically from locally sourced farms. So this is the highest quality stuff available on the market. It's Texas Superfood. Go to texassuperfood.com and check it out today. texassuperfood.com. Great to have you with us. Got some tweets here. Thomas Kinder tweets, it'd be interesting to see what the Hollywood anti-vaccine crowd was saying 15 years ago versus today. Yeah, where's Jenny McCarthy, I wonder, on this?
That's a good question. Jenny McCarthy.
I wonder if she's talked about the vaccine. Because, wow, nobody that I know of is more anti-vaccine than she is. From Joe Blob, Jiffy was popcorn. Yeah, Jiffy popcorn.
There it is. Yep.
And muffins. I don't recall Jiffy peanut butter. Yeah, I don't.
That's what we did.
I guess we were wrong on that.
Well, no. Remember, Bette Midler, big surprise, was wrong.
Yeah, right.
And
Exactly.
we just kind of fell into her trap.
From Jen with two N's. Oh, see, that's just selfishness, Jen. You're just hogging more N's than you need, and so somebody is doing without right now. Someone is doing without an N.
Somebody opined on Twitter yesterday that, what about Pat? Mm-hmm. You're Patrick.
Just one T.
Patrick, right? Mm-hmm. And they were like, hey, why does he need a C and a K?
Well, that's a consonant situation that I'm not responsible for.
I think you've been over this before. You don't make universal law.
I just live by it. That's exactly right. Anyway, Jen tweets, if you put peanut butter on both sides of bread, then jelly on top of the peanut butter, your sandwich won't be soggy at noon. Hey, you're welcome. Well, where were you?
Huh, yeah.
15 years ago when I was in grade school.
Oh, yeah. Amen.
Right?
But that's interesting.
That is interesting, Jen. That's a good idea. Plus, it's more peanut butter, which is delicious.
Yes. So you got two pieces of bread.
Yep.
Peanut butter.
And then the bread doesn't get soggy. Genius.
That is, man, I want to go back in time now and relive kindergarten.
John C. Garcia tweets new words for dictionary. Faucinate, and that's those both verbs for systemic forced brainwashing or systematic forced brainwashing. I've noticed that people are using systemic and systematic kind of interchangeably, and they mean different things.
Okay, tell us.
Systemic means that it was built into the system that exists.
Okay.
Systematic means you're doing it carefully over time, right? You've got a plan.
Oh, yeah.
And you're doing things over time. They're different.
I just try to avoid woke words and anything closely associated with them.
I love them. I love them and try to use them as much as I possibly
can.
Do
you? What's some more good woke words that you make? You like the word sustainable, right?
I love me some sustainable. Yeah, I do.
And you like eco, green.
Oh, of course. Who doesn't?
And
who doesn't?
White privilege. You're walking around here.
I'm really fond of that. Yeah.
In fact, just yesterday, I hate to embarrass you, but just yesterday there was a big crowd of people out here, and you were trying to get across to the kitchen there, and you're like, "Excuse me, white privilege coming through," and I was like, "Oh my god!"
Remember that?
Pat.
Yeah. Well, had to be said. Somebody had to say it.
You ended up getting to the kitchen, didn't you?
White person going to the kitchen. My privilege. Move aside. Part like the Red Sea, if you would.
And they did.
And they did. Patriot Princess Steve tweets, is Gwyneth Paltrow eating bread because her smelly candles aren't selling and she can't afford anything better?
Wow. Oh.
I don't know.
I don't know, but if she gets that bread, be sure, Gwyneth, you put the peanut butter.
Right, on both pieces of bread.
On both pieces.
And then the jelly on top or jam or whatever you put on there. These Hollywood nutcases are just so out there that, I mean, I've heard really bad things about Gwyneth Paltrow. Haven't you?
Weird.
Especially when she was with Chris Martin, she was really outspoken liberal. And I don't know, she's curbed that a little bit since.
Well, she's got to promote.
But she's still nutty.
What is it, Goop?
Yeah, right, that's true.
I mean, you sold. Never mind.
No. I know, but it's hard to keep track of all these nutty claims that are coming from the left. We've got this girl, I don't know how old she is.
Mm-hmm. She's woke, though.
She's definitely woke. She's waking us up to yet another. This is one I don't think anybody's thought about yet. She did, and here's another racist thing we're all doing.
Stop normalizing white people going tanning to the point where you can tell a difference. Like, go ahead, go out in the sun, but purposely going and tanning to make your skin darker is literally blackface. Point blank, period. It's literally blackface.
Point blank,
and you
period.
Can't change my mind.
Can't change your mind.
I don't care if you change your mind or not. You're not the.
Rob, can we get a still shot of that?
Yeah, what's the deal with under her eyes?
What's going on there?
Are those tattoos?
Yeah,
or...
he's got hearts under her eyes. She's got black lipstick, I'd like to point out.
You look like an idiot.
Oh, my.
Is this the chick you want, running your life? I don't think so.
You can't change my mind.
Okay.
All
right.
Well, darn. I guess we'll just have to.
I was really set to try hard, but then you told me I can't, so I'm not going to try.
And what did she say? Point blank stop?
Point blank period, I think.
Stop.
Right. And she would have point blank period.
Yeah, point blank is.
Blackface.
Okay.
Point blank period. It's
point
literally...
blank period.
Okay.
It's literally blackface. No, it's literally not.
So she made her own version of AOC there.
Yeah.
That's good. You can see who she's listening to.
That's for sure. That's very AOC-like, start to finish. All right, 888-900-3393. We told you about this little poll that was put up online on Twitter by Burks for Congress.
Yeah. You got a Pathead running for Congress down in Charleston, South Carolina, by the way.
Okay. So Pathead Burks for Congress made this little Pat poll. What version of Pat is your favorite? Angry Pat? Serenading Pat.
Okay.
Snarky Pat.
All right.
Or voice impersonation Pat.
Okay, and the results are in.
And the winner is voice impersonation Pat.
Oh, that's pretty tight there.
Yeah.
38 to
33.7 for snarky. And then angry, 24.3. Nobody likes me singing.
What? Your dulcet tones, they only did 3.9%?
I guess so. The Jeffy theme, you're not loving it?
I'm loving it.
Sing about the...
Oh, yeah.
Jeffy getting stuck between the moon and New York City.
Yeah, here. Wait, I thought you were going to sing.
No, it's not time. Tomorrow. You'll hear it tomorrow.
Tomorrow. Oh, yeah. Maybe. So just to spite y'all, tomorrow he's going to use that version instead of the kid orchestra.
Exactly right. Instead of this one. Yeah. You're going to miss out on it.
Yep.
And you have Pathead Burks for Congress to thank.
But I mean, if you're playing it now, are they really missing out on it?
Oh, that's a good point. I'm going to cut it off right there.
Oh, no, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Oh,
that's
no.
The good point. Thank you for the reminder, Keith.
So the winning was the voice impersonating Pat.
Yes.
I mean, I like those too, but you shouldn't give up on your dream of singing either.
My dream of singing. Yeah. Someday when I grow up, I do want to be a singer. I want to be a vocalist.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. I want to go on American Idol And then I want to get a record contract. And then I want to sing songs.
And you want Simon to embarrass you.
Yeah. He won't, though, because
if you could
so good.
be in a rock band, what would you be? The guitarist, the singer? You want to choose one thing.
For sure.
Guitarist?
Yeah.
Would you stand in the background, or would you be up front with the lead singer, or what?
Well, it depends on if I'm playing lead. Then I'd have to be up front with the singer, right?
Yeah.
The bass guy is the one who has to kind of get back by the drummer.
I know. They always hide back there.
Back of the stage, man. Back by the drummer. Keep your mouth shut and just play your bass.
Adam Clayton, we're looking at you.
Found a really good opinion piece from Tal Bachman online about Biden's big lie. Now, do you know the name Tal Bachman?
Yeah.
He is he's the person who is responsible for this late 90s song. 1999, She's So High. Tal Bachman, Randy Bachman from BTO's son.
I never knew that.
Yeah, it's his son.
That is so cool.
Yeah. Anyway, I don't think he's in music anymore. And he might. I don't know if he still does that. But he also writes quite a few opinion pieces. And he writes, occasionally we get a big break from the lie. On Thursday, both Joe Biden and Kamala Harris lapsed into uncharacteristic truth-telling.
Wow.
I don't think the American people are racist. Biden conceded in a Thursday interview. Harris agreed in a separate interview the same day. Remember that? Saying, I don't think America is a racist country. They both did say it on the same day, last Thursday. Nice, but seemingly at odds with what Biden had said in his speech only the day before.
Well, I mean,
so true.
Joe Biden's defense, he doesn't remember either of those moments.
Yeah, obviously. He said, well, there, as per the standard Democratic script, he described the United States as a nation plagued by systemic racism. And then the next day, he said we're not racist. Well, which is it, Joe? Which is it? That systemic racism had even affected the criminal justice system, is what he was saying. So, in other words, non-white American citizens can't be confident that they'll get a fair trial if they're ever accused of anything. Biden added that a terrifying scourge of white supremacist terrorism was now on the rise. White supremacy, he implied, had even driven the Capitol building attack. What did white supremacy have to do with the Capitol building attack? Biden even described the allegedly white supremacist intrusion into the Capitol as the worst attack on our democracy since the Civil War. Okay. We mentioned that earlier in the day. No, Biden did not mention either that the only person who killed anyone during the white supremacist attack on democracy was a black Capitol Hill security guard who shot and killed an unarmed white woman without any warning. The calumnies in Biden's speech aren't new. To give just one example, Biden told CBS anchor Norah O'Donnell last July that systemic racism is not just in law enforcement, it's across the board. It's in housing, it's in education, and it's in everything we do. But then last Thursday, he says we're not a racist country.
Man.
And Biden's not alone. Democrats have been obsessively denouncing the United States of America as a cesspool of systemic anti-black racism for years. And why wouldn't they? The big lie mind control trick has been working like gangbusters for nearly a century. It's even been replicated in the lab. For them, it's just good politics. Is the big lie of white supremacist America in fact a lie? Let's put it this way. Every available scrap of social science data indicates it is a lie. That doesn't mean individual stances of racial discrimination don't occur. Everyone knows they do. It's only to point out that given the data, it's a lie to say that America is systemically anti-black, run by white supremacists. For what it's worth, my own experience aligns with that data, says Tal Bachman. I've been on the planet for nearly half a century. I grew up in Washington, attended university in Utah. I believe that was BYU. Have lived and worked in California and Hawaii and Texas or Tennessee. As a touring musician, I've traveled to every part of the United States, big cities, little towns, and everything in between. I've been in thousands of conversations with people from all walks of life about all sorts of things. In all that time, and we've made this same point, in all that time, I've never met an actual white supremacist.
Thank you.
We've said the same thing, and we've got much the same experiences because we've talked with thousands, tens of thousands of people over the years because of what we do. We go and talk to people in huge crowds all the time. And I, too, have never met an actual white supremacist. And you know they exist, but they're just so rare, most people don't ever even encounter them. Bachman continued, you'd think that in a country supposedly teeming with neo-Nazis, I'd have overheard something or other at some point. I am white, after all. You'd think at least one of these millions of people would feel at liberty to say things around me they wouldn't say around non-whites. But I've never met anyone who said they thought white people were just plain better than non-white people. I haven't either. Never. Have you?
No. And if they're so proud, then wouldn't they'd
be proclaiming
very
it
clear about
all
it?
the time with everybody. Yes.
I mean,
Duke, for example, is like that.
Yeah, and as I'm sitting here, I think I've had my suspicions along the line of maybe one guy comes to mind. One store owner comes to mind.
Really?
Yeah, definitely.
So you have met at least a racist.
Yeah, I will say, yeah. I will say, if you are familiar with Kennesaw, Georgia, and there's a population of your audience right now that knows exactly what I'm talking about. There is a store. There's a store that sells Civil War artifacts. And judging on some of
the store owner is,
I would say, based on the stuff behind the counter at checkout, I think that's the one person that comes to mind that would fit this bill. But I grew up in the South, and I should have, based on the Biden-Harris logic, they should have been in every corner of my life.
Yeah. Tal Bachman notes, not even the notorious media creation that is Richard Spencer says that kind of stuff.
That's interesting, because that's not a fact you hear referenced often.
Right.
He's done his homework.
That I can discover, Spencer, as far as I can discover, Spencer only ever says he wants to be around white people because he's white, not because he thinks white people are objectively superior to non-whites. When your country's most notorious white supremacist isn't even a white supremacist, to what extent is the white supremacist scare as real as, say, Joseph McCarthy's Red Scare? Yeah, it isn't. I mean, he makes some great points here, and we need these kinds of points coming from people that are going to be listened to. You know, not the typical, because talk show hosts are going to be dismissed, politicians are going to be dismissed. Tal Bachman comes from the music industry, where people are mostly super liberal. And mostly vegetarian, by the way, as well.
Good point.
So,
I will say,
it's refreshing to hear that from a source like this.
You said Tal Bachman doesn't make music anymore. I could see why you would think that. She's So High was released in 1999, hit #1 on the charts. 2004, he had another album come out. And then you didn't hear about him until 2019 when he released Ian Starglow's Greatest Hits Volume 1 as Ian Starglow. So he had this, like, I don't know if he had an
alter ego,
right? Something like a Garth Brooks, Chris Haynes type. I don't know, but nothing.
Ian Starglow.
Nothing charted off of that album, including the single "Na Na Na."
Huh? Because it sounds like, you know, a blockbuster album.
Yeah,
it really does. And I think last year he did something with his dad, Randy and Tal Bachman, both performed on this album. I wouldn't mind hearing that. I bet that might be good.
Man, he's 52. How old is Randy Bachman, do you think?
77 would be my guess.
Okay. I can tell by the way you said that, you've already looked it up.
No, I don't.
Really?
No.
You just guessed?
Yeah.
Good job, 77.
Is he exactly 77?
Exactly 77.
All right.
I don't know. I thought I knew you well enough. 77. It felt like a disingenuous moment there, but good job. Good guess.
Thank you. Omega XL. If you're in pain and that pain is brought on by inflammation, this could be a game changer for you. This will turn your life around. When you're in pain every single day, God, it makes things difficult. And difficult things become almost impossible. Fun things become a little bit irritating, actually. If you're in a lot of pain, it's just really tough. Now, Omega XL is backed by 35 years of clinical research. It is all natural, but it certainly worked for me on my left elbow, that I could tell it was inflammation, and that pain kind of radiated down my arm, and I couldn't pick things up with my left arm, and it was really frustrating for a while. So, reluctantly, eventually, I finally tried the Omega XL, and after a week, the pain started to subside. And after 2 weeks, it was gone and hasn't been back since. If you would like to try something new, something that's not a drug and habit forming, something that comes from the pristine waters around New Zealand, go to omegaxl.com/Pat. You'll get when you buy one bottle, you'll get one free. omegaxl.com/Pat. Buy one, get one free, or you can call 800-844-4888.
This is Pat Gray Unleashed.
Yeah, can I just say that shop in Kennesaw, Georgia, the reason I was in there, I had found in Nana's yard this fork that looked really old, like maybe from the Civil War era. Mm-hmm. And so I took it to this guy because he's like the guy who knows all the Civil War stuff around there. And I had him look at it to tell me, is it from the Civil War era? What's the story on this fork? Anyway, he said, no, it just belongs to a baby doll set or something like that,
Yeah.
But as he's looking at it, that's when I saw all these racist cartoons behind him, and I realized this guy's not trustworthy. I don't care for this guy's backdrop here. As soon as I could get that fork out of his hand, man, I was out of there. So anyway, I just wanted to clear that up. It's not like I frequented this guy's shop and it was some place that I always went to. I got really bad vibes based on that situation.
I was going to start canceling you. So it's a good thing you explained that. And of course, we don't care about your explanation. We're still going to cancel.
I narrowly escaped. No, wait, I did not escape.
You haven't
the
escaped
cancel
anything. No.
Oh crap!
And your apology for it or your explanation has just made it worse. It's just made it worse. It showed that you love this guy.
Wait a minute. No.
That you value his opinion. That you wanted to do business with him. It just shows all that.
Again, I got out of there as soon as I could get that. Give me that fork back, and I took off.
That's not going to help you. It's not going to help you, Keith. It's too late.
I just made it worse.
888-900-3393. We got that from a school board meeting in Virginia. Is this where the mother is calling out the school board for being woke?
Yeah, the Asian mother?
Yes.
Right, yeah. Mm-hmm.
This is so good. And I think Glenn played this, but it is, if you haven't seen it, this is so inspirational. It just makes you feel good that somebody is taking action and standing up against all this BS that's going on in school, the critical race theory and all of that. Listen to this Asian American mother.
My name's Asra Namani. I came before you in June 2020. I spoke to you during quarantine. I pled with you at that time because I said to you that we had activists from Thomas Jefferson High School for Science and Technology, where my son is a senior, and that they had just baited the idea of an Occupy TJ movement. I sent a note to every single one of you, and I got not a single response. There was no concern about our students at that time. And then the summer proceeded, and the principal at our high school told us that our mostly minority students and parents had to check their privileges. And then, as the summer continued, Dr. Brabrand, you decided that our students and our families were spending thousands and thousands of dollars on test prep, And then you, Melanie Marin, told us that we were toxic. And then Karen Keys-Gamarra promoted the idea that we were racist. And then by the fall, every single one of you voted to remove the merit-based race-blind admissions test to TJ. And we pled with you as Asians, as an immigrant. I came at the age of 4. I knew no English. And you didn't listen to us. And now I sit here listening to this empty proclamations and declarations that you're making about your great value of Asian Americans. You tell us about you going, Melanie Marin, to a Japanese restaurant. Well, do you know that just a few weeks ago in social emotional learning at TJ, our students were told that if they do salsa dancing, it amounts to cultural appropriation, and that they needed to check their racism, and that is our mostly minority, mostly Asian students. And so your empty proclamations are just that. And then today, we get this vacuous survey from you, Dr. Brabrand, and you dare to tell us that you're going to consider removing the one policy that parents have to defend their students from indoctrination and activism, the policy that makes certain that anything taught in our school that is controversial must be presented fairly. You have to just think for yourself, if you have to remove a policy like that, how can you possibly be doing anything good? And then this survey, it's just a loaded survey. And who is it by? Indeed, New York Leadership Academy. And what has that survey done? They've asked us the questions for the contract.
Thank you for your time.
That you have now signed.
Thank you for your time.
That will allow
Thank
them
you
to
for
spend
your time.
millions of
Your
dollars.
time is up, ma'am.
Wow.
Thank you for your time. Your time is up, ma'am. Your time has expired.
Wow.
Yes, you
Your
always
time
want
has
to shut us
expired.
down.
Next speaker.
Continue to shut
Next
us down.
speaker.
Because that's what you love.
Please go to your seat.
Look at the way this Asian woman, this mother of a student at their school, was treated and dismissed completely out of hand. Just dismissed like she's garbage by this school board. That is despicable. Wow.
Yeah.
And if I might add, as long as we're playing this game, it's racist. How can you treat an Asian woman like that? That's unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean, for that woke school board's purposes, she's just a token.
Yep.
To be referenced, to be discussed, to have empty praise for. But when they push back, you need to
Look out.
sit down and shut up.
Yeah. She said a whole bunch of things that they just don't like. And so they're not going to entertain any of it. That's not, wow. And if that school board had taken out an opt-out option, I'd be opting my child out of the school completely. Now, it's really hard to do that because what's the alternative? I guess private school or some kind of charter school or homeschooling. And, you know, maybe you can't afford the first two things and maybe you don't have time for the latter. I don't know, but it's worth looking into and trying to do if you possibly can because our school systems are going to hell.
And look beyond just if you and your spouse, you don't have the time or the money or the energy. I mean, that's completely understandable. See, do you have a parent that lives in your town? Okay, that's not an option. Talk to your friends. Do they homeschool? Could you pay them less than you would to a private school that keeps your kids out of a public school where they're literally just a number based on federal funding? That's all they're worth to your local school district. Find another option somewhere where you can take your kids to be educated.
They do a lot of co-ops now in the homeschooling world. So that means a bunch of parents get together and they take turns teaching. And like you'd go over to their house. It's almost like school outside of school.
Right.
But you're homeschooling and it's coming from, you know, a curriculum that you can control, that you can oversee, that you can supervise. And it's so worth it to avoid the indoctrination that they're getting in these public schools. Because it's getting worse and worse every day. And these school boards couldn't care less. What needs to happen now, there in Virginia, is that the parents that were gathered there and were subjected to this kind of treatment, they need to run against those a-holes on the board.
Hey.
It worked in Southlake, Texas.
Yeah, that's true. That's absolutely true. And also in Arizona, gosh, I forgot the details. It was a couple weeks ago. The parents are basically the school board now. Really? The dissatisfied parents.
Yeah.
I forgot, like, the school board members, like, didn't show up. And so if they don't show up, then they basically elect a new board, and all these parents who are fed up with, I think it was COVID related, just the lockdown and the mask and all that stuff, are now the school board of this town in Arizona. You got to get involved.
Well, here in Southlake, they were fed up with the critical race thing, and calling their kids racists and all of that nonsense. And it's a great school district. It might be the best school district in the nation. I mean, they have no difference, no grade or result difference among races. In other words, all the races at Southlake School in the Carroll School District are performing at about the same level.
The numbers are incredible.
It's amazing.
Because they're the same no matter what race you are.
And now you're telling them they're all racists, and we need to teach them how not to be racists and all of that stuff. So I think it was three parents got together and ran for the school board.
Well, it was a 4-for-4 sweep in Southlake. I can't remember if it was 2 school board members and city council that were against critical race theory and the mayorship, but
everybody who was like-minded with us,
big time, like 80%,
all of them won big
time,
at least 70-30. So it was overwhelming, and I think some of them won 80-20.
Right.
It sent a message that won't soon be forgotten around these parts. I'll tell you that.
Yep.
Because we're trying to protect them from the boneheaded, ill-advised ignorance of some of these people who are jamming Black Lives Matter propaganda down their throats.
Yes, radicals were just trying to agitate and create a problem where none existed.
You know, we all agree, I think. I don't know a single person who doesn't agree that Black Lives Matter. Of course they do, obviously. So it's not that statement that we're against. It's that movement. It's that organization that is for the elimination of the traditional family and that are Marxists that we have a problem with. To the point where Patrisse Cullors of this fame
are trained Marxists.
Was at a book signing. Well, she was actually, I think she was talking about a book signing at an event and had this to say.
And I was speaking to this young person from Arizona who's trying to fight SB 1070. And he grabbed a book and he said, it's like Mao's Red Book. And I was like, man, that's what I was thinking. And it was just really cool to hear him make that connection. I was like, how about you buy like 10 to 15 of these books and you all have like a youth, like, organizing group where you talk about it and you really try to engage this. And we can just we need to build off of this.
Yeah, and I love the audience reaction that they think it's so funny that she loves the comparison to Mao's Red Book. Yeah, that's a good comparison, isn't it? Because we all love communism, don't we? We love it. It's great.
Who's with me?
Wow. So she is such a Marxist that she's proud that she loves the comparison to Chairman Mao. Well, I mean, he was responsible for a mere 60 million deaths among his people. I wouldn't worry about that. It could have been 100 million. It could have been worse, right? He didn't kill everybody in China.
Thank you.
So cut him some slack.
Right? I mean, the standards these days, I can't take them.
I'm telling you, we got to wake up. You talk about being woke. We need to wake up the woke.
Only on the Blaze Radio Network.